이게 번역을 하면 스탠리에 비화하네요. 여튼 돌리겠습니다.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
이게 서둔가 봐요. 패드 지원되네요. 오, 패드가 지원된다니? 패드가 지원되는 건 좋은데요. 이거 좀 꺼주시고요.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭐야, 문이 갑자기 닫혔어요. 그리고 문이 안 열려요. 왕따라고? 왕따이기 이전에 너무 소름 돋는데? 문이 자동으로 닫혀. 그리고 잠겼어. 그래픽도 약간 포탈2 같은 느낌이 나고.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
432번에게 무슨 일이 있었던 건가요? 책상도 없네. 아니 뭐야, 컴퓨터. 내가 껐다, 컴퓨터. 뭐야? 뭐지? 반대편에 뭐가 있어. 막혔네.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
아무것도 진행시킬 수 없다고? 거짓말하지 마. 난 컴퓨터 모니터를 껐어. 모니터가 아니라 전원인가? 이 컴퓨터는? 나는 컴퓨터를 껐다고? 그러게요. 디스크도 넣어야 할 것 같아. 이거 카메라 캠이 별로다. 너무 확확 움직이지 않아요?
When Stanley came
봐,
to a
문이
set of
자동으로
two
닫힌다니까?
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
이거 약간 포탈 2 같은 거죠? 사실 배우가 있는 거지 이거.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
문 닫혔다. 점프키도 없어 이거? 점프키도 없네. 뭐야? 분위기가 갑자기 바뀌었네.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Being here in the room, a room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at
어차피
these
앉기도
chairs and
없잖아.
some paintings.
X를 눌러
Really
앉기를
worth it.
표하세요도 없잖아.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
뭐야, 11시 반이네? 1시간 동안 아무 얘기도 없었다고 했죠? 그러면 출근을 한 10시쯤 한 거야? 10시 반까지? 출근 시간 늦다. 부럽다.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
뭐야? 뭐지? 어디로 가야 되지? 한번 들어가면 문이 닫히니까 못 가겠어.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
이건 뭐야? 뭐야? 뭐야 이 게임?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
왼쪽이요? 왼쪽 문이 열리네.
Oh, no. No,
뭐야?
it's to the right. My mistake.
이쯤 되면 지금 이 들려주는 목소리가 상당히 의심스러운데.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What? Was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
에? 차? 여기? 뭐야 이게? What?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
네?
Okay. We just have to get back to
네?
Oh, who am I
스포일러라고?
kidding?
여기가 뭐 하는
It's all
데인데?
rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
예?
How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
뭐? 뭐야, 왜 강제로 다시 시작해?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
아니, 뭐야. 왜 마음대로 리턴이야?
When Stanley...
뭐야?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely
뭐야,
fresh.
문이...
Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere?
아니, 그거 하기 전에 네가
Hold on.
껐잖아.
Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here
애초에 너 내 말
somewhere.
듣고 있긴 해?
Okay then, it's an adventure. Come, Stanley, let's find the story.
스토리를 샀자니 문이 다 열려 있잖아. 이건 막혔고. 뭐지? 뭐야? 근데 문의 개수가 의미가 없어. 이거 좌우 외에는 전부 같이 뚫려 있어요. 그래서 문에 들어가면 문이 닫히니까 문이
I'll
들어가.
say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
뭐? 리하.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
그리고 내
Stanley
게임
decided to
파일도
go to the meeting
사라졌지.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
너가 자꾸 리셋하잖아. 잠깐만.
Okay, yep,
돈이
it's
없는데요?
worse. I might be remembering this wrong.
거봐, 네가 자꾸
It's
리셋해서
possible the story
그래.
is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
네가 자꾸 리셋해서 그래. 뭐야?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
뭐야, 여기
No,
원래
wait,
이런 게 있어.
never mind.
뭐야?
Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
에? 뭐야? 에?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
아니요, 저 게임
Do you
지금
remember,
시작한
Stanley?
지 한 10분밖에 안
Well,
된
do you
것
know what?
같은데요?
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
저한테
how about
물어보시면
this?
어떡해요?
You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No,
뭔 소리?
I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
뭐야, 바닥에
All
뭐
right,
그려져 있는데요?
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
이게 뭐야? 어? 원래 이 길 아니었잖아. 근데 문이 다 닫혀있네? 아니요. 이상하다. 이거 원래 이 길 아닌데. 이 길이 아니라 요 길이었어. 여기.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
아니야? 이상한데. 너에 대한 신뢰도가 떨어지고 있어, 얘야.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in
게임이냐고 저도
this
시작한 지 얼마 안
direction.
돼서 모르겠어.
Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
진심으로? 나레이션 진심이야? 그게 너의 최선이야? 나레이션의 최선인가 봐요.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley,
이거요?
this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the
뭐야,
Stanley
들어왔는데?
Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
이쪽 문이 열렸어. 난 차이점을 알아. 도착했다.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
네? 왜? 도착했잖아. 거기가 엔딩이라며. 아니.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent
엔딩이요.
people. Right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
나는 나레이션에 대한 신뢰도가 떨어지고 있어.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
반복되는 미로길이요?
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
라인을 신경 안 쓰기엔 가는 길마다 라인이 있는데 어떻게 생각해? 가는 길마다 라인인데? 라인 여기 있다. 라인이 위로 들어갔어. 근데 점프키가 없으니까.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, So I know that each door has to lead somewhere,
저보고 돌고
which means
있으래요.
that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
주인공이요?
회사에서 일을 하고 있었어요. 그리고 오늘은 맘타가 특집을 열리던 날이었죠. 그래서 모노를 돌리기 싫었던 이하는 자리를 박차고 일어났답니다. 그리고 게임의 일부일 줄 알았던 나레이션이 게임을 진행하고 있는데 제 말을 듣고 있는지 모르겠어요. 저 나레이션 말대로 빙글빙글 돌고 있는데
왼쪽은 못 나갔네. 이건 뭐야?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending.
뭐야? 좌우 다
You're telling
상관없네.
me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well,
뭐야? 이게
you
엔딩
consulted
루트인가 봐.
me.
영어라서 모르네.
Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped?
뭐야?
Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are
너무
right
심각하게
now.
생각하는
We'll
거
find
아니야?
out,
그냥
won't we?
사는 것
Eventually.
자체로도 이야기야.
Well, in the meantime,
모든 거에 의미를 두지 마. 리셋됐다.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
리셋된 것 같은데요? 왜냐면 나레이션이 더 이상 저한테 말을 안 걸어요.
Walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
원래 제가 여기로 갔었잖아요. 허멜떼님 후원 감사합니다.
이번 역은 함정역입니다. 내리실 문은 없습니다. 수원, 서남 방면으로 가신 고객님께서는 이번 역에서 열차를 갈아타실 수 없습니다. This stop is 함정.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he
그래,
went?
지나가는 문들 자동으로
And for that
닫힌다니까?
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
예,
No,
똑같다니까?
Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And
똑같다니까?
at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
최대한
He thought to himself,
구석탱이.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently
뭐야?
float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so
뭐야?
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
에?
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
저게 뭔
And
소리야?
while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that
아니,
this
꼭
was in fact a
아니라며.
dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my
눈을
apartment
까물키라고요?
and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
짠!
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
에?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
갑자기?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this. So it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
끝이야? 이 모든 게 스탠리의 정신분열에서 온 거야? 뭐야?
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
엥? 뭔 소리야? 대사가 달라. 대사가 달라. 뭔 소리야? 나 아까 죽어서 지금 다시 시작한 건데?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
뭐야, 여기 분위기 왜 이렇게 달라? 사장실 분위기 왜 이렇게 달라요?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
뭔가 공간이 있는 것 같은데.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
도망?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
뭐야? 진짜 일로 가면 죽나? 헉! 내려가는데? 와.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
에?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
목소리가 다른데요? 뭐야? 어? 뭐야? 어? 에? 이게 뭐야? 여긴 뭐야?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
에?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
뭐야,
death
막았어.
becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
무슨 소리죠? 혼란스러워. 이거 저기다. 내가 처음 하는 스토리? 라인? 이거 그거다. 내가 껐던 컴퓨터들. 버튼? 버튼은 뭐지? 1, 2, 3은 뭐야? 저건 벽에 걸려있던 액자. 뭐 없네. 이건 뭐야? 전시실인 것 같은데? 뭔가 박물관? 박물관 느낌 나요. 이게 저긴가 본데? 라인마다 가는 히든 엔딩이냐고요? 엔딩인지도 모르겠는데요? 이건 또 뭐야? 포탈? 이건 포탈 아니야? 생긴 게 포탈인데? 여기가 어디야? 버튼. 나가는 길. 나가는 길이 있네. 뭐야, 나 약간 저 플레이 방식이 약간 스포일러를 전부 보는 스토리인데? 플레이 방식이? 뭔가? 하는 것마다 다 스포일러야. 뭐지?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to
사람?
destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
응? 여자 목소리 누구지?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
아니요, 껌껌해서
No,
안 보이는데요.
perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
아니, 진짜로 안 보여요.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time.
뭐야? 나가기? 맞아? 아니 나가래잖아.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both
이번엔
fail.
안 꺼볼게요.
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
이번엔 죽는 소리 났다. 뭔가 으지끈하는 소리? 진짜로 이게 끝이에요. 아무것도 안 움직여. 사실 오버워치였던 거임. 진짜 아무것도 안 움직여요. 그 어떤 키도 반응이 없어요. ESC 외에는? 진짜 나갔어야 했나봐.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
원래 왼쪽으로 갔죠? 이번엔 오른쪽으로 할게요. 오른쪽 직진?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
여긴 뭔가 다르네요. warning, do not jump for the 번지 점프를 하지 마세요, 뭔가?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
아까
Good
낙사
job,
안
Stanley.
했잖아.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
아까 낙사 안 했잖아.
Directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me
미안해,
prove that I'm on
이미
your
진행하면서
side.
스포일러
Give me
다
a chance.
봐버렸어. 너가 보여주는 그 모든 것은
Now listen carefully,
아름답진
this is
않을 거야.
important. Stanley walked through the red door.
그래도 한번 빨간 문으로 가줄까요?
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
뭐야? 문 열렸다. 시꺼먼데?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
우와.
If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
나레이션 로맨티스트야. 근데 조금만 더 이쁜 거 안 보여주면 나 가버릴 거임. 더 이쁜 거 있어. 뭐야. 나레이션의 호감도 상승. 호감도는 상승해도 신뢰도는 바닥이야. 아니야. 아니 여러분은 이거 보고 만족해요?
No, wait. Where are you going?
어디 가냐고? 땡.
Right. Where were we?
어디까지 했냐고? 초록 색깔 볼. 이번엔 분홍 볼. 뭐야?
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here. No. What did we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You are going to stay here, aren't you?
아니 너무 웃겨. 안절부절 못하는 게 너무 웃긴다. 간다.
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
그냥 왔다 갔다 하는 거 좋아하는 것 같아. 와 이제 대사도 없어. 대사 없으면 안 해. 갈 거야. 대사 없으면 갈 거야. 재밌어.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
뭐야? 죽는 애님밖에 없어? 죽지 뭐.
No!
어?
Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
여기?
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
뭔 게임이냐고요? 저도 지금 알아가는 중이에요.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
지금 나레이션이랑 밀당하는 중이거든요? 재밌게 하지.
No. What are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
그냥 말을 해. 말을 하면 안 갈게.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
이거 무한 반복이라고요?
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
근데 대사가 매번 바뀌어. 전 대사 바뀌는 게 좋아요. 우와.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to... Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
후자가 더 가까워. 후자가 더 가까워. 이제 카메라 돌리지 않고 가죠. 다 외웠지.
Is it over?
죽었다.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
아까 빨간 문 들어갔거든? 이번엔 파란 문 들어갈게.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
빨간색 표시해둔 거 봐.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
나한테 물어보지도
Tell you
않았잖아.
what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
싫어요. 뭐야?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
다시 시작하지도
All right.
않네.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
뭐야?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and
그러게요.
always putting the story
반복
first.
못하게
I'm quite
강제로
sure you'll
제시하는
be
거.
up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
아니 웃기잖아.
When
자기
Stanley
스토리대로
came to
가고
a set of
싶으면
2 open doors, he
선택을
entered
선택지를
the
하나만
door on
하면
his
되잖아.
left.
왜 선택지를 굳이 2개 이상으로 해서 나한테 책임을 전가하는 거야?
Coming to a
여기
staircase,
막았어요.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
막혔어. 다 막아버렸네? 에?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to
뭐야,
discover not an
팬더한테
indication
총
of any
껴누는데요?
human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
뭐야? 게임이 강제로 꺼졌는데요? Welcome back. 뭐야, 끝났잖아.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
대사 바뀌었어. 나레이션이 절 죽였어요.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hope coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
다시
upstairs
리셋됐네?
to his boss's office.
여기도 다시 돌아왔어.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
도대체 뉴에이지 음악은 어디서 트는 거야? 여기엔 스피커도 없는데. 어? CCTV 있다. 정말
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
대자뷰를
large
느끼게 하는
door that
게임이다.
read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
저기가 제가 처음 갔던 곳이네요.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
저건
nothing.
뭐야? 아, 저거 전화기 방이다. 전화기 방. 그리고 저기 저 빨간 글씨 방은 뭐지? (104방) 저것도 빨간색이다. 아, 해고예요? 해고 당한 거구나. 해고가 둘만 당했네.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
나레이션 분 흥분했는데.
But here was the proof.
목소리가.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
할 수 있어? 아, 4번 저기 있다. 직진으로 가는 게 움직임이 더 빨라서 카메라를 움직여야 하는 게임. 뭐야, 이게 아니야? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5번 눌렀는데 안 돼.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
나 지금까지 뭐 하고 람?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
그러니까 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 있길래
He
그대로
had won.
누르면 뭐 있나
He had
했는데.
defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only
이제
thing
나레이션이
worth
말 안
knowing.
했는데.
Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense
그 처음에
possibility
봤던
of the
방에서
new path
있던
before him.
그 장면인 것
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.